We got the main man, Steven, right here.
My brother.
Right in LA. Appreciate you inviting me over here.
Of course.
So yeah, we did some great work together that we're going to talk about today. So if you want, you can like quickly introduce yourself, tell them what you do, and we can take it from there.
Sure. So I'm Steven Cravata, and I've been building apps since I was in high school. And I would say about 2 years ago, I started to share my journey about building apps, building and scaling apps on YouTube, and grew a decent audience. I think we crossed 60,000 subs on YouTube recently. And you know, along with that, people start to reach out and they start to ask for help and consulting at the end of the day. So started to do a bit of that. And yeah, I think I'll leave it there. And that's kind of the point at which Ike and I met and started working together.
Exactly. So that was like late last year, 2025. I remember when I reached out to you, like if you want, you can just like break down how the whole system was set up and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I wouldn't even really call it a system back then. I was definitely doing consulting. We had a group of driven app founders that I was working with. And yeah, there wasn't really a system behind it. I was kind of taking DMs on my own. I think we had a small team in the back end who was bringing people on into our group. But yeah, it was not optimized at all, and we were not making the impact that we should have been making. And that's when Ike reached out to me. And it's funny because, you know, he reached out to me with a killer DM. I forget what it was, but anyway, I was like, okay, I'm gonna definitely take a call with this guy. We took a call, and he gave me this. He gave me a great plan. Ike is not the first person to reach out and kind of offer to be an operator for my App Accelerator group, but Ike kept reaching back out. He kept following up in his messages, and I think that speaks to his work ethic, because he I essentially had no option but to work with Ike. That's how many times he reached out. And so I was like, okay, dude, let's do this. Let's work together. And it was one of the best decisions that I made.
I really appreciate that. I mean, I saw the potential from day one. Like the reason why I reached out like so many times is because I knew for a fact we can like 10x this whole thing.
Yeah, and I could feel that energy. And a lot of the times when people reach out to me and they want to work together, you know, they'll hop on a call and they'll tell me they'll do this, that, and the third thing. But you came with a structured plan, and I mean, I had no doubt you would get it done. So yeah, you crushed that.
Let's appreciate that. So I mean, we can talk about that plan right now when while we're in that transition. So maybe like a quick funnel talk right here, specifics. So when we started working together, I think we had like a very roughly built like VSL funnel.
Yeah.
So a quick video to a thank you page, book a call, stuff like that. And the first thing that I wanted to do is, well, there were two things, which was one, paid ads, and then a webinar, right? These are the two things that I wanted to do. So what we did first is we tested out a webinar funnel, right? We initially did that organically, and it worked very well. Right, so we started running paid ads to that, where we're at right now. So if you want, you can like explain how that first webinar felt.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you presented the idea and I knew it would crush it. Obviously a webinar where people are spending an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe even with you, you can provide so much value and you build trust. It's almost like a YouTube channel. A YouTube channel is so powerful because you have those people with you for a longer period of time. And a webinar is an extension of that. And so, yeah, I pitched the idea of doing a webinar, and I said, let's freaking do it. And essentially what happened is Ike went to work. He came back like a week later, all the slides were done, and all I had to do was show up and smile and read the words off the webinar and a little bit more, but we got it done. I mean, I barely had to do any work. And then yes, the first webinar absolutely crushed it, and that turned into our new kind of sales mechanism.
Exactly. So since we were doing it organically first, we had a lower frequency of webinars, I'd say. And now we got to a point where we're really doing like weekly webinars, thinking about doing it twice a week, running paid ads to them. So I guess like, was there a difference for you in terms of like organic versus paid once we implemented that?
Not really. I would say the only difference was more volume, more people showing up to the webinars, right? I think the quality was still the same because again, you're spending so much time with them on a webinar, you're able to talk through your story. And I was able to talk about how I first started building apps, how I scale apps. I was able to talk about my entire process. So they're almost just as nurtured as a YouTube subscriber would be. So
Exactly. There's no reason why you should not run paid ads to your offer. I say that because I know that there are so many offers that are not running paid ads to their offers, which makes no sense to me, because why would you not do that?
yeah, and it's a win-win because you're growing your audience at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah, right. So the Instagram grew like very well, just like from running paid ads as well. So I guess also the thing with webinar funnels, as you said, even though they are cold paid ads, they go through a whole, like, they're consuming so much content, right? It's not even just the webinar, like the webinar presentation. There's like, what we do is we run paid ads for like 3 to 5 days prior to the webinar, and we run a pre-webinar nurture system. And over those, just like before the webinar even happens, they watch so much stuff because I sent them to a ton of YouTube videos, I sent them a ton of emails, a ton of like SMS messages that are not really just like reminders. I sent them actual value. I sent them to more content that they can consume. So by the time the webinar actually happens, they're already nurtured enough to we almost handled most of the objections and like concerns, questions. Now they get on that webinar, they spend 2 hours together with you live. It's like the last step that they need to actually go ahead and book a call. And it's also much higher intent when they actually get on that call and also like close, right?
100%. And even after the webinar, let's say they don't follow through and they don't start working with you, you still have them on YouTube, they still know who you are, they know your face, so you're building a lot of social authority as well from the webinar. And on top of that, I also have a software product that we're driving people from the webinar too, so we're hitting multiple birds with one stone.
Exactly. And since we were talking about like people that don't convert through a webinar, we still have SDRs, we still have retargeting ads, we still have a bunch of stuff that we can use to send people.
The newsletter.
Yeah, the newsletter as well, like a bunch of stuff to still convert people after the webinar actually happened, right? So yeah, I mean, that was like the funnel talk, the nerdy stuff. You can still combine, like there's a bunch of stuff actually happening in the info space where people are like, should I run a webinar, should I run a VSL funnel, a challenge, whatever it might be, you should run, or what works best is basically a combination of most of those things, right? You have a webinar funnel, people that don't convert, you send them to the VSL funnel. You have a VSL funnel. I would actually not really recommend only running a VSL funnel without anything else. There are offers that are absolutely crushing it, but it's become like harder and harder.
You lose a lot of value.
Exactly. And also like we're in a trust recession in the info space. It is very like you're trying to convert somebody who doesn't know, like, and trust you within like 3 days through one video, and then a bunch of stuff after the video, obviously, but it works, but it's harder. So you want to run like a combination of things, webinar funnels, VSL funnels, challenges, and that's where I think the info space is headed to. Also like low ticket ascension. We're currently in a setup of a low ticket funnel, so an OTO after the webinar, people buy that, we ascend them later on. So yeah, a nerdy webinar funnel talk.
It's the most important stuff though, bro.
It is, yeah. It is. So yeah, I mean, what is like your day-to-day like for the accelerator looking like right now with the webinars?
Yeah, it's been pretty optimized. We built a solid team around us. Ike and I have built a very solid team around us, so most of the stuff is handled, and I get to do the stuff that I enjoy, which is number one, teaching in the accelerator, and I get to make content, which is more of the stuff that I was already doing. All the boring, the nerdy stuff, as Ike said, has kind of been taken off my plate. So, day to day, I'm working on my software company. I'm still scaling my software company. I'm making YouTube videos, Instagram videos, tweeting, and coaching.
Exactly. So you have a lot of time to actually like do the things that actually matter, which is like something that is harder to actually outsource, which is content, working on like the big decisions when it comes to the software company and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess first of all, I appreciate you for the rundown. I guess like what is your goal? Obviously I can talk about that too, but what is like your goal with the accelerator and where we're heading to? Yeah,
I think the accelerator fits very well into my plans as an entrepreneur in general. As I mentioned, this software company is actually a marketplace connecting app owners with content creators. We're building that actively. It's something I've been working on for a couple of years. And the accelerator has been a great funnel into that software company. And I think if you can match an info offer with the software, also at the same time, you're, again, hitting 2 birds with one stone. So both businesses growing, both the accelerator growing, the info offer growing also grows my software business. So it's been super fun, and it's something that I enjoy doing, and I enjoy growing our community and teaching others how to build successful apps like I have. So as far as goals in the future, I think just keep growing, keep scaling this thing, keep scaling both companies, and see where things take us.
Exactly. All right, I think that's a good rundown. That's a very solid rundown. And yeah, I mean, also like, it is good for me as somebody who operates an info offer to see that you're actually putting in the work for your actual business that you're teaching, which is like the software company, right?
Right, and that's why I think what we do together works so well, is because this, as we always say, this isn't just theory. These are the actual strategies that we're using. I'm currently building and scaling software companies and mobile apps, so running the accelerator not only helps me become a better founder in my own company, but we're actually able to teach. We're able to teach stuff that's actually working right now for our founders in our group, right? So yeah, it's a win-win on all sides.
It is pretty much the perfect use of info, in my opinion. Like it is optimized to a point where you can provide a lot of help to the people that are in there. You change their lives. It's obviously like you still have time to focus on your actual software company. You get people to use your software company from the accelerator. I think it's a very solid mix.
And it's completely changed the way I've thought about sales, right? Like what you've done in building our webinar funnel has completely changed the way that we are starting to approach sales at our software company. Now I think pretty soon here, we're gonna run a webinar for the software company as well, using the exact same funnel and mechanism that Ike has built for us. We're gonna be doing the same thing for our software company. It is by far the most powerful way to attract people, build intent, build trust, build authority, and then give them something at the end, give them an offer at the end. So it's killer, and we're going to use it across all of our businesses.
Exactly. And if you set it up in a way that is good, if you actually understand what you're doing, halfway through the webinar, like with webinars, there are obviously people, like the info space is like pretty sophisticated right now. People know that you are gonna like most likely pitch something on the webinar, and the webinar is just set up in a way well enough so that we're halfway through the webinar and people already start putting in the chat that they got so much value from the webinar alone. They want to hear the pitch. They want to join the accelerator. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah, no, exactly. Again, the way we've set up the webinars, again, and it's effective because these are the strategies that we're actually using to build apps. Nothing is outdated. It's the real stuff that we're doing, and we have the real results to show on the screen. We start every Webby showing the results of today's app revenue for our latest software company. So, again, we crushed it on the execution in the webinar, and like to Ike's point, people are very thankful for all the value that we've dropped, and they're ready. They want to work with us further at the end of it because everything we're showing is real.
Exactly. All right, so that's pretty much how you can take an info offer, maybe also a software company, because there are a lot of parallels between those two business models. That's how you can essentially 10x an info business through, in my opinion, webinar funnels, even no matter what stage you're in, right? So yeah, I think that's a good note.
And with Ike's help, I mean, we've more than 10x'd the accelerator from where we were at when he started working with us. So yeah, we're going to keep growing and 10x the software company too. That case study is also going to be incoming. We'll sit here again a year from now, and we'll talk about the change the software company went through as well. So
Exactly. Appreciate you hopping on. We're going to do a lot of good stuff together in the future too. And also, like, as an end note, this is like, I've been in this space for like 2-3 years, and this is pretty much, I'm not even kidding, like the best business relationship that I ever had in this whole entire space, because I think we match as like business partners, which is also very important if you actually want to grow together. So yeah, I really appreciate everything that you've done. Appreciate you inviting me here to LA, to your crib. So,
of course, bro.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you, man. It's easy to work with someone like you because I trust you, and I don't have to review, like, you know what I mean? Ike, whatever Ike wants is just an immediate yes, because he's already proven his value. He knows exactly what he's doing. And I think most importantly, what I appreciate about you is you always have, the best interest of not only the accelerator, but also the members in the accelerator
of course,
at heart.
Of course.
I mean, that's why we're able to
Of course, you have
succeed together.
Yeah,
so.
you have to have good fulfillment. Otherwise, like, what are you actually doing?
Exactly.
You have to build good companies. That's what I stand for too, and you obviously as well. So yeah, I appreciate you hopping on. This is the interview. So yeah, we'll see you in about a year, maybe sooner.
Probably less. 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months, we come back and we talk about how we've used Webbies to scale the software company as well. So
100%.
much more to come, bro.
Yes, sir. All right.
Appreciate you.
Peace.